Ooh, look how stinking cute. And you can either do gold.
Them, and I honestly love that they're a little distressed. All right, y'all, look at this right here. Oh my gosh, the stockings, the adorable stars. Guys, you've got to make some of these so precious. Think about where you would hang these up.
Okay, so today we're doing something that I don't even know if it's gonna work. I don't know what it's gonna look like. I don't know how it's gonna turn out, but y'all, we're gonna attempt to cut metal with our Cricut. What? I don't know. Let's find out. But in today's video, we are going to be testing, can we really cut this metal with our Cricut? And not only that, can we cut this metal with our Cricut with a fine point blade? So if you are ready to see if this works, see if this doesn't, and make this amazing project, this mantle display, if you will, make sure you stick around to the end of this video and see what works and what doesn't. Now, before we dive into testing and talk about all of the different materials that you are gonna need for this project, I don't know if you've heard, if you've been around our channel for a while, Christmas Craft Week is happening, and y'all, it's next week. It's happening next week, so if you haven't signed up, go ahead and go get signed up. We are gearing up for a phenomenal full week of crafting with you guys. It's going to be epic. You cannot miss this. Make sure you click that first link down below, get signed up for Christmas Craft Week. We're gonna be going live every single day next week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, bringing you 20 plus amazing projects. So if you haven't gotten signed up yet, make sure you click that link down below and get signed up. Now, for this project, to bring it all together with our fingers crossed that the Cricut is going to cut this, here is what you are going to need. So starting out, we have some 18 to 20 gauge gold wire. This is what we are going to use to string our metal stars. And I don't know if you guys can see this. I'm trying to hold it where you can see it. So you can see it's a very malleable, very bendable and moldable gauge wire. So this is what we're going to be stringing the stars from and stringing it across the mantle. So grab you some gold wire, 18 or 20 gauge is fine. Next up, we do have our Cricut True Control knife and a brayer. This is just going to help you really get that metal onto our mat, which, speaking of our mat, we are going to be using this bad boy here. This is a strong grip mat because we don't want our metal to go anywhere. But also to keep it from going anywhere, if you have trust issues like I do, I like to tape material down. This is just some Scotch painter's tape. If you are having issues having materials to stick to your mat, go ahead and just have some of this handy. Keep it in a drawer in your craft room. I'm telling you, it has saved me more times than it has not. And then the last thing that I have is going to be, these are just jewelry pliers, but I'm using them because they have wire cutters here. So this is just to cut the wire, what we're gonna string the stars from, and we'll show you. So those are all of the materials. Oh, finally, I forgot, we are using this metal. Now, this metal is very similar to like a heavy duty aluminum foil. So I don't know what else it would be akin to other than aluminum foil. It's just like a super heavy duty aluminum foil. I personally do not think that the Cricut is going to have an issue cutting it, but my biggest concern is it going to get stuck? Do we use the star wheel? So we're gonna test all of this together. But just so y'all are aware, all of these materials are going to be linked down below for you. Right under that link for Christmas Craft Week, you're gonna find all of these materials linked down below. So if you want to recreate this, make sure you click those links and grab this material so that you can finish this, because I really think that once you see the final product, you're gonna be obsessed. So let's go ahead, hop into Design Space. Let's get everything set up, because I also think we're gonna have to make our own cut settings. So if you don't know how to do that, you're gonna wanna stick around, because I'm gonna show you exactly how to do that. So let's go ahead and head over to Design Space. We're gonna set everything up and start the process of testing if our Cricut can cut metal. Now that we are here in Design Space, this is where we want to end up. But to get here, you will need to download the file either from the website, or if you look in the description of this video, you can find the link to the file as well. The name of the file is going to be Metal Star Banner. But once you have downloaded that from the website, what you're going to do is come over here to upload. You're going to upload image, and then I'm going to bring my Finder back into view, and we are going to download this. This is what it is going to look like. You're going to hit continue and then upload. Now it does upload pretty large, so you do need to size it down. We like ours to be around 3 by 3. You can make yours as large or as small as you want. It really doesn't matter, but all you're going to have to do is size it down accordingly and then duplicate this as many times as you would like. Now, I will say, I think it would be good if you had some smaller ones, some larger ones, to add some like different variation. So don't be afraid to play around with the size. You find what is going to work best for you and the place that you are decorating, but all you have to do is size and duplicate. Now, once you have done that, that's the easy part. We now have to figure out what is going to cut this metal on the Cricut. So I want to show you a little trick that I like to do, and that is when I go to make it, I'm creating my own cut setting. So coming over here to make it. Now, one thing I do want to make sure you all are aware, and I'm just going to go back and hit cancel. We'll make this one the same color as everything else. One thing I do want you all to be aware of is you do have to be connected to your machine before you can create a new cut setting. So we're going to connect to our Maker 3. And then once you are connected, we will be able to go to continue. Now, here is where I like to look at my materials to determine what I may make a new material setting at. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come down here to where it says browse all materials. You can kind of look at all the materials. Now, this is in the compatible. You can also search all materials by toggling up here. But what we really want to do is down here at the bottom, it says material settings. That's where I like to look and kind of determine what is going to cut this material. So this foil is, it puts me in mind of maybe like it would be similar to an acetate, probably a little easier to cut because it does rip pretty easy where acetate doesn't. But I can see that acetate is cut on a pressure of 280. I don't really know that that's going to be enough pressure, so I want to kind of look through here and see what all else is similar. The first other thing that I thought about was heavy cardstock. So heavy cardstock gets cut on a pressure of 310, but if you've noticed, both of those have 2 passes. I think to be on the safe side, just to kind of like play around with it, you can start with like a pressure of 300. I think I'm going to go with 320 just by looking off. Like holographic cardstock is 275, 2 passes. And those are all with a fine point blade. Light chipboard is 327 with 2 passes. So I think anywhere between 300 and 320 would be good for this one. So I'm just going to come on down here. We're going to add new material. From there, what you are going to put in, you can name it whatever. So you can name it metal sheet or whatever. So we'll just name it metal sheet. Then you're going to go to save. And now is where you determine the pressure. So I think I'm going to go with 320. And then I'm going to turn on 2 passes. And then we're going to see if that's going to cut. So now all you have to do is hit save. You can see that it puts it in alphabetical order here. And now what we're going to do is we are going to browse all material. We're going to search up that metal sheet that we just put in there. We're going to select that. You can even bookmark it if you plan on doing it quite often. Then we're going to hit done. And now we are ready to load the material onto our mat and load it into our machine. And we're going to see if this cuts. So now that we have that set up in Design Space, I'm ready to add my metal sheet, aluminum sheet, whatever you want to call it. I'm going to add it to my mat here, and I'll bring you down so that you can see. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just going to place this down, and I'm just gonna roll it out the length of the mat like this. I'm gonna take my brayers and I'm gonna bray it down onto the mat to smooth it out as well. So do you see how that's smoothing that? And that's why I think for this project, a brayer is a great thing to use. And then I'm just gonna take a True Control knife. This is gonna tell me a lot. How well this cuts with the True Control knife is gonna tell me a lot of what I need to know and how much pressure I'm having to put on the True Control knife. Okay, so once it's cut, it gets cut pretty good. It was a little bit trickier to get it started with the True Control knife to cut it, but I do think we have it down on the mat really well. I think I'm gonna not tape. I think I'm gonna trust it this time. Maybe we're not gonna tape. We'll see how it does. If it doesn't work, we'll come back and figure that out. Now, I'm gonna bring you over here to the actual Cricut, because one thing that I am going to do that I am afraid is going to make lots of marks are these star wheels. So if you are working with a material that does like take on an indentation, you do need to make sure you move your star wheels. So these are placed on your machine to kind of help your material stay on your mat in case your mat isn't holding it down as well as it should. They're great for vinyl, HTV, paper, things like that. But if you are working with larger materials, these star wheels need to be moved to the side. Or, like we're working with this metal today, it takes on indentions a lot, so we need to make sure that we move our star wheels over to the sides. So I'm just gonna do 2 on each side to keep it even. I'm gonna move my housing over, and I'm gonna pull this one over to the side. So now we have our star wheels, you can see, on either side. And now what I'm gonna do is I'm just going to load my material here, which I will say, the star wheels aren't putting in as much of an indentation on the side as I thought that they would be. Or are they not touching? Maybe they're not touching. Maybe they are touching. Either way, we've moved them over to the side. But once you have that loaded, we have our material that we already made. We are going to press this flashing play, and we're gonna keep our fingers crossed that it works. And if it doesn't, we'll go back to the drawing board and try again. Okay, you all know the drill. Especially when we are working with new material, we don't pull it up until we know it is cut all the way through. And I actually had a corner of one of these stars must have gotten like hung up in the housing, because I can already tell you, I do think that this did cut all the way through. Now it's just going to be a matter of getting it off of our mat. So what we're gonna do now, we're going to unload. We're gonna bring it over here, and let's start the process of getting this material off of our mat. So I'm going to flip it upside down first. Okay. It's coming up. Do y'all see how it's, I think I'm gonna pull it up this way so that we can unload it. So that one did tear, but it doesn't matter. We don't need that part of the metal. We just need the stars. So we want the stars to be the flawless part. And that part is just ripping off. Okay, so obviously it cut all the way through beautifully, but now, how do you get these up off the mat without damaging them? My suggestion is get you a little scraper tool, and what I'm gonna do is I'm just going to use it to ever so slightly pull up the edges of the star like this. So they are gonna curl a little bit, but I'm just pulling those edges up and trying to keep it as close to the mat as possible. You do have to be careful. Did you see what I just did there? I did rip this corner. So we'll start again. So you do have to be careful. You see this corner I ripped? So unfortunately, there goes one of our little stars. So let's start on this one. So maybe even not going all the way to the, as close to the center as you can, because not all stars, not all of the points are up, so we don't want to rip into the center point. So what I'm doing is I'm just pulling that up, and now I'm going to just gently pull that middle portion up. Now it's gonna look funny, but what I'm gonna do is we can lay this back down like this. I'm gonna get my brayer, and I'm just gonna straighten that out on a flat surface. Ooh, look how stinking cute. And you can either do gold or silver or both. So we're just gonna keep working and get the rest of these up off the mat. Once you have gotten them all off the mat, what I'm doing now is I'm just gonna take my brayer. Once again, I'm just going to bray it down to flatten it out some. You can also use your hands. I did have a corner right here turn. We're just going to fix that right there. Bray that down, and then we're just gonna straighten this guy out. And then we're gonna start assembling it together with our wire. Now, once we've kind of flattened all of our stars out, what I'm going to do is you are going to grab your wire that you're going to be hanging these from, and you are going to cut a piece that is as long as what you want to hang on your mantle. So it may be a fairly long piece, but we are going to cut a piece that is long enough to go from one side to the other. And we're just going to take our wire cutters. Very easy. You can actually cut this wire. You can bend this wire yourself. You don't have to have wire cutters. You could do this with scissors, but I don't suggest cutting wire with scissors ever. And then once you have done that, we're also going to be hanging the stars from the wire as well. So you need to cut varying lengths of wire to hang your stars from. So some of them you want hanging lower, so you want longer pieces of wire. Some of them you want hanging to be hung shorter. So we're gonna do that. And how you're gonna do that is we're gonna take this, we're just going to thread it through the center of that star, loop it around the top, and we're just going to add a twist to keep that star on the wire where we want it to be. And then we're gonna make sure that we bend this back out. And you can twist as tight or as loose as you want. I like it to be a little bit loose, that way it kind of like hangs pretty freely. But once you have done that, the last thing that you have to do is loop it onto your main wire here, which this one I cut is a little bit long. So how you're gonna do that is you're just going to loop this over and just wrap it around there to keep it, wrap it around this main wire to keep it secure and snug so it doesn't go anywhere. And then once you have wrapped it a couple times, you can cut off that excess. We'll grab our wire cutters, cut off the excess here, like this. And then that's it. You're just going to keep hanging the rest of your stars on your garland. And then once you have done that, we will be ready to hang it at the bell house.
Okay, y'all, we are at the house, and now what we're going to do is we are going to go ahead and start stringing up this amazing garland. Y'all, this is something that we've put and talked about in our videos quite a bit, about having some really awesome garland that you can use year over year. You know, this year when we've been kind of redoing our theme and making our projects and things like that, we haven't had to buy a ton of stuff because we have amazing garland, like, you know, different pieces like this that we've used for 4 or 5 years. So when you think about investing in things like that, I just love to remind you guys that you'll be able to use it over and over. You can store it, you can reuse it, And honestly, it lasts for quite a while. I would say this has lasted us already 3 or 4 years, and we'll definitely be able to get 3 or 4 more years out of it. So it's super awesome. What we did to prep the surface so far is we went ahead and added some command hooks right here. So this is a really unique one that is more so for the garland, and then we'll be able to fluff it. And then after that, we are going to add our amazing projects. So it'll be super, super awesome to be able to hang it up. So let's go ahead and get started. One really fun thing to note is what we're using to hang up lets you know that you need to kind of secure it an hour before. So we went ahead and put these on about 6 hours ago. So it's nice and ready for us to use. And these are actually made for cord organization, but we think it'll be perfect for our garland and that we'll be able to fluff it and things like that. So, you won't even really be able to see it. So that's our hope. That's our vision. Let's see if we can bring it to life. Okay, who's gonna help me do this? Because listen, if I know one thing's for sure, 2 things for certain, your boy Tanner is not a pro at hanging this garland. Okay, Courtney is gonna be my assistant, or I'm her assistant, whichever one you want to assume. We want to give a little area. This is a lot. Okay, ooh. Okay, I'm seeing the vision. This is cool. Boom. Boom, boom, boom. How does it click in? Oh. Shut up. Wait, what? Oh my. No way. No way. Y'all, that looks good. This hack. Can we just give y'all a close-up? I didn't think that would work. Okay, look at this. Ooh. Okay, we just hung that up and it was the easiest thing I think I've ever done. Like you can't even find where we clipped it in. Look at that. Do you see that over there? Ooh, it's just hiding. Y'all, Courtney, did you see this on TikTok? You did see it on TikTok. That's the secret. Okay. Oh my gosh, look at this. We're getting this hung up. It's gonna be awesome. Here, let me help.
We tried last year, but we didn't hang them.
6 hours ahead. Oh my gosh, this is incredible. What a hacky hack. Oh no. Oh no. It's too short. I think we're gonna need a little overlap. Okay, we're gonna get this hung up and then we'll come back. Okay, y'all, so we just wanna let you guys know, we have decided to put our stockings over to the left side. So look at these adorable ones. We have 3, so that'll be perfect. So we're starting our wire right here, and then it's gonna go really tight all the way under, all the way over. And then what we've done is we're gonna manipulate the height of all the stars. And all we did was we tied off, this wire is so easy to just like tie into any part of your garland. And then we've added just a couple of these. We're able to like floof them, and I honestly love that they're a little distressed in transport. So you can either manipulate those like Lauren's doing now. We'll be able to do different heights. So we'll kind of bring the height up and down. And then we're just gonna continue to add them on. Lauren, do you have any tips let's just show them how we kind of added them on here.
So we are just, right now they're just looped, so they're kind of free moving at the time.
Yeah.
But once we get them secure, we're probably going to like get something to like crimp this down so that it stays put.
Beautiful. Okay, so we're gonna do that and then come back. All right, y'all, look at this right here. Oh my gosh, the stockings, the adorable stars. I am so obsessed with this. I mean, just take it all in. Take it all in. They're adorable. Oh my gosh, let's focus in. Guys, you've got to make some of these so precious. Think about where you would hang these up. I mean, it's so beautiful. And then with the stockings, this is everything. Oh my goodness. Okay, what did you guys think? Oh my gosh, I love it. So fun. It has been so much fun getting to try out this material with you. Like, holy cow, I cannot even believe that it first of all worked. I love that we were able to work out all of the kinks and really perfect it together and then bring it all together inside my home with this amazing garland. And yeah, we're all set up for Christmas. I am so excited. If you have not went ahead and grabbed your Christmas Craft Week ticket, what are you waiting for? Go down below, click that first link, grab your free ticket to Christmas Craft Week so you can craft right alongside us November 3rd through the 7th. It is gonna be epic, so go over there. I'll see you back here real soon. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.